It is the 29th of August, 2023. I'm just going to talk a little about one of our only hopes is what one of our only hopes are, and that is locally, our local municipalities, our local governments, not this Paul Pierre you have here in Canada or wherever you're from, not the federal, not the provincial, but local. And we can only ever unite as a unite in any good or for what they call the common unity, which is what community stands for, in truth, not beliefs, not what you think, not, you know what I mean? And I get still confused with the whole thing of I say things like that's what I know sometimes on things I can't prove, but I do go by a pattern of behavior a lot. And when we have those who are constantly shown to be liars and just deceivers and not looking out for the best interests of the people, well then, they have us fighting over scraps. If we vote for this person, we can get that, and if we vote for this person, we can get this, and Paul Pierre is not anybody else. They keep us fighting over, that's my cat there, or Andrew's cat, keep us fighting over scraps, well, in our own immediate world, but in the big picture, they do what they want, and everything continues on in the same direction it always has, right? What did Justin Trudeau, like, they set us up for failure in a way, like we're dependent on them to fix the things we know need to be fixed, and they give us promises that they're going to fix them, but in the end, it's worse than what it was initially because we did nothing, and we're expecting those who we think are going to change things or make things better or whatever goes on in our heads is going to do what needs to be done. Like the housing crisis here in Canada. We're letting in all these immigrants. We got a housing crisis, and Justin Trudeau constantly said that housing is a priority for their government. Okay, he kept saying that. Now it's coming where he's on his second term and halfway through or a year in, and what it is it is now. And he's saying, I'll be honest with you, housing is not a priority for the federal government, okay, or provincial, whatever. Okay, it's not. What it boils down to is it's on us. And when we're always looking to someone else to come and save us, be it Jesus or Paul Pierre or Trump or whoever, we get more into the thick of it, right? And our municipal governments have everything going for them to stop obeying every whim of the madmen who roll over us. Because either they're complete fools, they're insane, madmen, same thing, or they're madmen, and they don't know any better. And in that, we better start using our own heads, not just simply believe everything they say. Things like, oh, we even if we save one life with these vaccines, and there's only a risk of 1 in 1,000, if that, of dying of COVID if you weren't healthy. Like you got less of a chance. But I'm sure Grandma and Grandpa, if they were aware of the whole the whole picture, or were aware of the whole picture, or had all the facts, they would not be in the promotion of putting stuff in kids that could harm them, never mind does harm them, right? Like COVID, before this injection they gave everybody, myocarditis is 1 in a million. Now it's 200,000 in a million. That's 20 people in every 100 have myocarditis. And when you're diagnosed with myocarditis, for anybody who wants to sit there and deny the facts, and I'm not saying, hey, we want to live forever. We don't. And death is just a surety, right? It's a sure thing. And whatever else, and not to fear death, but that's what brought this on, where you risk, and that's just myocarditis. 20 in every 100, 2 million. Used to be 1 in a million, now it's 200,000 in a million. Half of those will be dead in 3 to 5 years. Half of those. So you risk injecting your kids with that. You see all these people dropping dead. You deny what you could see with your own eyes, and believe what you're told and you think you could rule or lead the people in any capacity, meaningful capacity, we're in crazy land. We're being ruled by, if they're not stupid and foolish, they're insane and psychopathic in nature, and they are not serving the people. They're serving what is called the World Economic Forum. I spoke of this. And whether or not I knew all this or not, I know that they're not serving the people. They're serving an agenda. And that goes for all you religious people too. How can you ever think, if it's the end times, that any of our governments would be out serving God? We kill those people who speak the Word of God, and the Word of God is truth. They speak it, and you look through history, and they always ended up dead. And in my life, I would be like, they're trying to teach me moral, maybe, because I was always outside the scope of things, or outside the box, if you like, and looked at things differently. When I was a kid, they always said, well, this is wrong, and they'd try and right it, right? Like convince me that everything's not being right. Or later on, I was told, well, you can't change the world, and things are slow to change, and whatever else. And then, and some people would say, I'd be like, well, why don't the people just do this? And I'd be told, well, you'd end up dead. Well, truth is, if that's the world we make and that's the world we leave, that's not the world I care to live in and be a part of and be perpetuating this madness. Because, in service of God, you could only do what's best in service of God if you're doing what's in the best interest of those you profess to care for, mainly children, the innocent ones, right? And we're not. We've always done for ourselves. And we're in some bad times now, eh? You know what I mean? Like, people are going to be getting sick, maybe dying, and, probably will be dying, and they're going to blame it on a new virus, and people are going to go all scared and everything else, and get even more stupid, right? Like, we don't have much hope and much chance, people, and I'm holding out hope and I'm fighting, but, I'm getting involved in local politics in regards to the council. As another opening, I think I mentioned it, and I'm running for it, but I'm scared, right? I'm scared because I don't know if there's any hope, and is it going to make me compromise who I am to do what needs to be done for the now, or are we going to put aside all of our ego and pride and not be all insulted or whatever, and deny what we don't like because of it? Or are we going to actually put aside all those deadly sins, pride, ego, all that other stuff, and do what's right for the children and for those we profess to leave behind? And only in that can you serve God. Okay, for anybody out there who's claiming they have God and serve God and are going to heaven, I do not profess I'm going to heaven. Okay, I have absolute faith in my heart. Death is not the end, but I am just fighting every day not to be damned if that's the case, and I don't accept any of that anyways, that any God would damn us in this world. It seems to be a man thing, right? Oh, I hope they burn in hell or whatever if they get wronged or something seriously wrong is done, right? Like child being killed or whatever, all the other things that go on in this world. And I lost my train of thought here, but what was I saying? So it's for us and our sake that they are going to hell. But are they really? Are they, you know what I mean? Is that a fair God in this world that we made, in this world that we make? To me, it's not. We're weak in the flesh. All this stuff that's come to be here is not just, it's gotten so bad. It was a progression that brought it to be where it is. Okay? Whether it was all the stuff on TV, all the 7 deadly sins were promoted, right? Obesity, slothfulness, or whatever, gluttony. Every sin has been nurtured. Now we're at the pride before the fall, right? And it's right there in front of your face where people are dancing and prancing around, naked in the streets for pride, gay, whatever it is, LBJQ, TST, XMP, who the hell knows anymore, pride week, month, year, life, I don't know anymore, but it's a big joke, and it has been a progression that's been constantly perpetuated, right? It wasn't that activated the sexuality in children. It's all the stuff on TV. It's all the programming that we've been subjected to, such as, like I said, if it was always about how those who are different, homosexuals or gay people, were ostracized and persecuted and this and that, and hey, everybody is if they're different, okay? And but you're choosing to be that way. Well, no, it's not a choice today. I think it's genetic. They messed up our genes, right? Satan will poison your mind, body, soul, shall corrupt the world. Well, when we're corrupted genetically, that's why you got this hydrocene or whatever it is that's in nature that is making frogs gay and everything else. It's taking away the testosterone in men, and testosterone in men is healthy as estrogen is in women. Too much is no good, and not enough is no good either, right? But all this has been perpetuated. The sexuality in children has been activated by the TV. So we stick up for those who are gay and homosexual, but if there was ever any sincerity in that nerds, what we call nerds, that would be something that would be stifled, but it has never been. It's been encouraged to be stigmatized and persecuted because you're smarter than everybody else and you learn for yourself and this and that. So none of it's actually sincere, right? It's all just a corruption and a misguiding humanity. So, we better wake up, because what's going on in the world, like, I'm living in the land of the forgetful here, right? I have no memory, no memorizing skills. I cannot memorize for the life of me, but I remember everything. Okay, and you want to think, oh, how can that be? Well, the memory and the remembering reality in life, truth, is different than memorizing where you're trying to memorize. Okay, so my gift, my greatest gift, or whatever you want to call it, was I was struck dumb, where I had my memorizing skills basically virtually taken from me, right? Unless it makes sense, I can't remember it. Okay, so I remember everything. So when I remember them speaking about how they could control the weather, how they put out wildfires, how they stopped droughts, how they did this and that, yet you hear nothing good. You get what I mean? You got to realize that what they're doing is not for the greater good. There's something else behind it. If it was about clean energy, why aren't they promoting hydroelectric dams? Here in the north, where I am in Canada, has lots of power dams. I hear stories of these power generating dams, whatever they don't call them dams anymore. They call them water control stations. But anyways, they want to mince words. But these power dams that run on hydroelectric water are clean as anything. Clean, you know what I mean? And they're bleeding off energy because they're making too much. Anybody with any sense who knows how hydroelectric dams work knows that it has to be a consistent energy being provided, because say it's a coal generated plant, or we got cogens here that generate energy and stuff. They can't power it down. Oh, it's sunny for 6 hours or 8 hours or even 2 days. It's windy for a day. That's bringing the power up and down. So they can't shut down these coal power generating plants. And then, it's getting cloudy, power back up. They got to have it ready to kick it in right away, and it takes 24 hours for it to warm up. These turbines, which tells you what it is. A turbine is something that gets turned. A generator is something that generates. Those mills they're putting up, cutting down forests that I forget how many 48 pounds or something of say even 25 pounds of carbon one tree consumes per day or something, and they're cutting down and clear cutting trees to put wind farms up. It's all just a big joke. So I don't have to go, it's conspiracy this, conspiracy that. And, I just look at what they say, use the words against them, and not against them, but process it in my mind. And then why do they have to lie? So, when they're promoting this and it makes no sense, it's because either they're complete morons or they're serving some other evil agenda. You know what I mean? It's like when they said about these vaccines. They don't protect from transmission. They don't protect you from getting it. They don't protect you from passing it on. But they do prevent you from becoming seriously ill. So with those facts alone, then why were they promoted to be put in children when children were at no risk of dying from this, virtually nil? And if your child's unhealthy and you're feeding them pizza pops and crap, then maybe you should change their kid's diet. But no, we can't take any responsibility. It's always someone else's fault. I can't help it. I got a sickness. I'm an addict. Hey, I'm not speaking about this in any regards that I'm any better. I'm a degenerate, man. Okay, whatever. I don't hold any constraints on my experiences in this world. We really got to start using our heads, and we can only unite in truth. That doesn't mean that I'm always right. That means that if you're saying something that I can't deny, then I got to reevaluate and correct my path, as your Jesus says, that no one seems able to do. And the minute you start thinking, I got it right, I'm saved, how could you? So right there was an evil concept that was taught to man. And a lot of the things that it describes as the Antichrist is basically describing Jesus. We'll put this man before God. Everything we do puts him before God. Anyways, people really have to start using their own good sense, the sense given to you by God. Because, as it says, you can't be deceived lest I deceive yourself. How does that happen when you deny your own sense? You know, it's always someone else's fault, always someone else's problem. You know, when I was in school, I was like, why do we have to go to school? Why? Well, so that you basically can't be conned. They didn't use that word, but so that you can't be tricked and be ripped off or something along that line. And I'm looking around and I'm saying, holy muck, it sure as heck didn't help that any, does it? Have all these people who get scammed, and then they blame everybody else. Oh, yeah, they need to do something. You need to start using your own good sense. But that's what we do, right? Good causes, we look at it as a scams. Scams, we look at it as good. And it's because all the scams in some way, shape, or form are promoted by the mainstream media, which, like the FTX thing that happened, it was a big scam. It was being promoted by TV. Anything being promoted by the media. Okay? So, same thing goes with Pfizer. Sponsored by Pfizer. Sponsored by Moderna. Sponsored by Pfizer. All your TV sponsored by it. All your news. And you want to think you're getting told the truth when you always said money is the root of evil, and that it's all about money. Well, when there's treatments for things that are not invasive, not harmful, and they're not promoted and not used, and you talk to anybody and it's all because it's all about money. It's all about money. How could you ever think there's any good in that? So anyways, I'm going to end it here, see what Angela wants. But people, we need to unite and put aside our differences. And the biggest differences are beliefs. Your traditions, actually. We're one race, one people. We're not like different races. We're the human race. And they nurture hold on to your heritage, hold on to your traditions that they destroy to their liking and to their whims, all their whims. But it's mainly to keep us divided. They destroyed everything and anything that was of any true good out there, okay? That's why the natives had to be crushed. They called it God, if you like, the Great Spirit and Mother Earth and all this other stuff. But no, we had to save them with a white Jesus. Come on, people. Come on. Start using your good sense, okay? It does not say that what you have been told and have accepted, it does not say that in that book you call the Bible. It says the pathway is narrow and not many will find it, okay? But all these Christians, and then anytime you point out what these Christians do, well, they're not true Christians, and then and so on and so forth. They're all fighting each other, whether it's the Jews or the Jehovah's, and they're all revering Jesus. Okay, the Jews, the true Jews are, I don't even know if there's any true Jews, true Christians anymore. I don't see them. I haven't seen any. If you've been deceived and can't see the truth, the word of God through the deception, you cannot see the signs, and you do not see. But the wicked in this world are those who profess to be Jews and are not. Okay? Whoever they are, I'm not going to try and sort them out and, we need to persecute these people. We're all guilty. And none of this is possible if we aren't doing it to ourselves, and we're doing it to ourselves on a municipal level all the time. It's not some boogeyman, some Satan doing it. It's us to ourselves. And if our municipal governments cannot acknowledge the truth of things because whatever reason they don't want to, people can't handle the truth, or they don't want to rock the boat, or maybe they'll end up dead, or okay, then you don't serve good, and you cannot serve those you are taking upon yourselves to serve in any meaningful capacity. Like this municipality I live in, there's 2,500 people spread out over a large area. That's one, two, three, four, five different communities, I think it is. Maybe six, wards. There's 6 wards, and you got people in here trying to make it like it's a big, it's a little village, and they're trying to run it like it's a city, and in that, it's just going to break the people, right? They're destroying the middle class, and all these people who are out there sitting there, well, I'm not bothered. Just wait, your time's coming, and your fall is going to be hardest because you're the one who's never done without. And they're destroying the middle class on purpose. And unless you have a ticket to these underground bunkers and shit, you better wake up, people. Okay, because playtime's over. It's over. It's been over for a while. We're in the time of the days being stretched. And that is a fact that I can tell you. You just got to look around. You can't preach at the end times for 2,000 years, which they were doing just after Jesus is Jesus. And it wasn't, I think they did a switcheroo from what I gather. But you can't sit there and say that and then ignore what all the other things it entails, right? Like we had the Christian Crusades where they went around killing everybody and conforming them to their form of Christianity. We had what they did to the natives. It was done all across the board. Anybody who wouldn't accept. Now we're in the time of just this. They just need to deceive, and they still do kill off anybody who speaks the truth. You just got to look around in history. I'm not going to start naming names like this person. I don't know. I know what is in my heart, and just because I live in Canada and classify as Canadian does not make, because I'm good, I know what's in my heart, and I know I stand for what's right and true and good. Doesn't mean just because I'm a Canadian and that's me that Canada is good. We are not. It can't be that way, and all you have to do is look around. They have been permitted to do what they've done, all on this self-righteous thought that we were better than anybody else. We're going to give to everybody else what we have because we're so good. No. They gave you, because we're in the, remember, those who accept this Antichrist, well, Jesus, will live in peace and prosperity for a time. And that's where we were, okay? But that time's over now. What we were needed for and used for in our self-righteousness is done. We're not needed anymore. They have technology, they have all the, and the technology they have is, like I said, them talking about controlling weather. They can do all kinds of things. They got lasers, this shit that went on in Maui. You just need to look in. And people were trying to evacuate, and the police put up barricades so people couldn't leave. Okay, you just got to look at videos on TikTok. How about this? I don't know. Maybe they're just fake. Maybe it's some of this deep fake stuff going on. But knowing the pattern and behavior by those who are controlling everything, buying up private jet lines that contribute to this carbon problem, are 40 times the contribution they make is 40 times higher than a commercial flight. And Bill Gates, the one that saying he's combating this climate change, is buying up private jet lines. Because those are the only people who will be able to fly in the near future. So you're selling away your child's future, any hope, and what are you going to tell them when they ask you how it went so bad? Remember back in the day when we had those who were older than us saying, oh, those were the days. Well, those days are gone, but we still got, so it just kept getting worse. It was like boiling the frog slowly. So all this stuff is coming to be because of us. And it started way before. And because we're so small and puny in mind, we can't think of anything beyond our own life, which is psychopathic, and we couldn't think that maybe all this stuff we were born into it, this ruling of the Antichrist and all this other stuff. No one ever considered perhaps we were born into it. As I said many times, we've all accepted a number. That's pretty damn close. Upon your hand or upon your forehead, the social insurance number is either memorized or on your hand. Okay? And regardless of that, that's pretty damn close. We've all been given a number that we can't buy, sell, or trade anything without. And as close as, oh no, not that number. Why? Because you say so? Because in your, what is it? What is it that's preventing you? Because other than me, everything lines up if we look at it in a way that we've been born into it. I don't know. We got some very bad times coming. What's going to happen is going to happen fast, I think. But we got these yahoos saying that the higher interest rates means people have less money to spend, so that keeps inflation down. No, that destroys the middle class, and the middle class is what keeps this economy going. So them needing to spend money keeps this economy going, but they're being wiped out, right? Say you got a $200,000 mortgage, you're paying at 20%. I won't compound it or anything, just simply 20%. That'd be like $40,000 a year just in interest you're paying. I think it is, eh? Yeah. I don't know. They might give a different rate for housing, but they don't want private home ownerships. They want us all in these smart cities, which they're all making, right? Even these small communities are putting in all these LED lights. They're all little microchips. And they're all connected to this smart grid, okay? So, I don't know, people. I don't know. I just know that our children have been getting sicker. They've been more and more health problems. We're supposed to be more advanced. Autism's on the rise. We got ADD, all these other things, and no one ever thought to care. They just, the government's got to help me, and you think the government's there to help? If they were, they would be delving into it, because screw all these dead older people with no brains. Like, the wise elders need to be looked after, but if we don't care to know and care to try and ratify these issues in regards to the harms being caused to children, then what's any of it for? It was always in any civilization, I guess you call it, any, civilized civilization, that's all I can think of. It was always elders that were revered. A child, as horrible as it is when they die, does not have the knowledge and wisdom of an elder. And that wisdom and knowledge is invaluable. Those are the riches for the kingdom of heaven that they speak of. Fill your room. It's knowledge. But then they make it like knowledge is bad, and okay. So you got those who have all the knowledge using it against you, convincing you that knowledge is bad. And what did God say himself? My people die for their lack of knowledge. Okay? So don't give me that. There's never such a thing as too much knowledge, as long as you seek knowledge in righteousness and in truth. Anyway, I'll end it here, and I'll try and make another video tomorrow so I can send it to town. But people, we need to unite and come together in the common unity, which is just we have a common understanding. We could have our differences, whether you think it's flat or it's round, you know what I mean? And who cares? Does it matter what, the shape of our prison, as I heard Max say? Like, I hear things, and I'm like, okay, that's an easy way of putting it, but I don't need to hear these people to say these ideas. And I think you can tell by the way I speak that all this is my own thought. You can tell someone who is using the ideas of someone has no prudence in it, no conviction. They'll hear it, see it, think it, but then they won't live it, and they'll be forgotten again, and then they'll hear this, and they'll go against that, or they'll say this, that. You know what I mean? You cannot, there's no acting and being what I am and what I show myself to be. And those who are like me in service of truth, God, cannot fake it. You cannot fake it. It's not something that can be faked. So, I'm going to run for council again, and believe me, I don't want to be. I actually am scared. I have fear of that. I don't fear the death. Well, I can't say I don't fear death. I do have everybody fears death, but it's all part of the life experience, and you know what I mean, and whatever else. So I don't mean to say I can't really explain it in a way that maybe you can understand it, but I don't. I won't be the one panicking when the shit hits the fan and running all scared, with the mob, right? When the mob goes that way, you go that way, because we see it many times, right? Yeah, these people, they're all some life-threatening event happens, and they're all stampeding each other, or say they're in the water, they're flipping boats and trying to drown another to save themselves. That's what the herd will do, right? So the herd goes that way, you got to go that way, all right? That's where it's going. And I'm not saying there won't be some that will be with you and that, but as far as it goes, there's very few and far between, right? Not many. You'll be surprised he makes it to heaven. Yeah, that's true. And I'm not to heaven, and that's just the term that I'm using, and that is understood by most. Okay, so I'm kind of all over here, there, whatever, but there's so much that could be said, right? And we're in some very bad times, some very scary times, probably, to those who want to deny it, and that's probably why they deny it. But if you're denying it out of your fear of acknowledging reality and truth, well, then you do so out of serving yourself, and you do so to your own peril, right? You want to accept everything and tell you nothing's ever your fault. I'm this way because of that, and I'm that way because of this. I'm an addict. I got a sickness. Okay? Never any responsibility. That's what they taught us. Okay? It's always someone else's fault. Point that finger at yourself, look in the mirror, and see who the problem is. You're the problem. Okay? I'm the problem too. Just a bit less. I have a bit more of a solution. I know what we can do. Any community can become prosperous behind anybody's wildest imaginations. I just don't know if there's enough time for it to matter. All they had to do was acknowledge one thing: truth. Put them 2 steps ahead of the whole thing instead of 10 steps behind, and using what others deny to be first and allow your community to profit. But we're in clown world, and we got those who don't know any better leading. And it's all because those who knew better wouldn't step forward in the positions of leadership or representation, if you like. I don't really like to call it leadership, because no one has a right to lead anybody in this world. But stepping forward to represent others, if you know better and are not, then you're sure to be ruled by your inferiors. And somebody like Socrates or some Plato or who cares said that, right? It just says so. So, I always step back and go, hey, people know better than me. What do I know? It's best I leave it to them, and you know what I mean? And no, okay, now it's something else. I know better. But at the time, I knew better, that I knew that I shouldn't be a leader either. But now I know better, and not that I have all the answers, but I'm confident with the right group of people, we can make miracles happen, if you like, miracles, or move mountains. But whatever, right? Here we go with 33, and I gotta just keep talking a bit, because people are crazy, man. They think everybody and everything, but what they should listen to, they don't either, right? And that's fine. Trust no man, which means trust yourself. But no matter what, if you're listening and taking your ideas from someone, because anybody I listen to, there's only very few. Jeff, I'd like to think Berwick, I'd like to think he's on the right path. I'd like to think that he's finding his way, but there's some things but Max Egan, he's somebody that I have to say, a very wise man. He lives very menial or humble life, if you like. Doesn't care for much, and that's the way we're supposed to live this world, in service of God. So, but again, Jeff, on the other hand, has family and kids and a baby now, and in that, you have to prepare ahead. That's like what I did here, because if it was just me and I had no one else to worry about, well, I'd be just booking it and backpacking everywhere, okay? And with my wisdom and my know-how, I can get by and maybe wander, and I'm the stranger, and here, I can do this for you. I know how to do this, and I work for a place to shelter during the winter, maybe, or a meal, or whatever. But people don't know how to do that, right? So I did this and did what I did here for Ange because she can't do that. But she's been working on it. We've been working on it, but it's a hard road. It's not easy to. She was very sick, and she's better than what she was, but to go and living out of a pack sack in the woods, that's not real realistic. And if I have to, I'd carry her baggage around, kind of thing, because that's what it would be, and do what I need to do to help keep her well and safe, if you like. But in the end, it's on each and every one of us. And you're not fighting with everything you have for your health. You're living for yourself. Because if there's anybody in your life that would be dependent on somebody that has wisdom and that, and you do for yourself and don't try and get your health so you're healthy so you can help instead of being a burden, then you live this life for yourself. I say things, and I know it gets people wrong, right? I say things like get down on your gluttonous knees and humble yourself and ask for forgiveness. But when I speak of gluttonous, I'm not just speaking about the obese people or whatever. I'm speaking about those who it's never enough. They can never fill that hunger in them, that hole in themselves, that they need to keep filled with entertainment or whatever. They can't be by themselves, right? So, as I said before, that's another direct sign of whether or not you want to listen to somebody, right? If people can't be by themselves and, clear their heads and get their heads right and find out who they are, because the only way you can is on your own, then they're not somebody worthy of listening to, okay? And I'm not saying I am, but I'm saying hear me. Hear what I'm saying. Come to your own conclusions. Don't follow me. My greatest fear is the fear of misleading others. But in that, I will share what I learned and try and help them see for themselves. But they need to want to see, and they need to want to seek it, and they need to see it for themselves, right? They can't be told. It's not something you can be told. No one can be told about God. They need to seek it. That's a fact. Okay? Maybe only children know, but then they get destroyed by this world. Maybe they can teach us because they're closer to God than any one of us, right? If you like. They haven't been indoctrinated and programmed. And like I say, if you get sore vexed and all angry inside or whatever because you're hearing something you don't like that you can prove to yourself, beyond a doubt, just using their own words even, then you don't serve anything good, okay? Now, Facebook's not allowing news posts from Canada here anymore. And they say it's all about this and that or whatever. I don't know, I don't care, but I see it as this. Is because those with eyes to see can see how they say this, then that. And if we're taking what they said here and posting it next to what they said are saying now, and we put it on Facebook, a platform that is very could have been used for the good and wasn't. And the amount of people who are able to see it, there's other words I can't think of right now, then that would go a long ways in opening people's eyes, right? Showing how they contradict themselves, and hey, and if those who you're listening to to run things and to keep everybody safe and look out for their best interests, and you're thinking of them as mommy and daddy, and if you're constantly being shown how their discrepancies in what they say and their total contradictions and whatever else, well then that's a huge eye opener, and I don't know. I don't know if there's any hope, people. I'm trying. I'm fighting for you. Believe me, I'm not doing any of this for my own good. It's actually, every time I realize no one's getting it in my heart, it's like friggin' chest pains, man. It just sinks my heart. And my heart is not well. I damaged it with the medications they had me on and stuff and whatever else. But that's on me. Hey, everything's on us. We chose. We just had blind faith. So, it takes a strong heart, I guess, to go through. And as I say, for me, running for council, I don't want a position. I don't. But I don't see anyone else that I could say that I would want to put my faith into. And it's going to take a lot out of me, more than I want to give. But how can you not do anything? So I don't have much hope for getting on council. I'm not the type of person that they'd want on there, because I'd be putting out things that they don't want to deal with, that they think isn't their problem, but only in acknowledging reality of what's going on in the world, or our countries even, or, can we ever serve those we chose to represent in any meaningful capacity.